Doodlebud here. We're checking out a bunch of stuff on the desk, which was all sent to me by Top Drawer. They're a retailer in the US. They have online and, believe it or not, real physical stores with real actual people who work inside them and know all about the things you see on this desk along with everything else they sell. They sent me this care package because I'm a fountain pen channel and they just came out with their very first fountain pen. So I've been using this thing, probably a month and a half now. I'm going to tell you all about it, plus some of the other stuff they sent over, which includes fantastic new fountain pen paper I've never used before. I saw these on here. They were just going to send the pen. I said, you should probably send over a book or two because my fans would probably want to know about the paper you carry. So we're going to go through that, top it off, cool Japanese style lighter. And one more thing, they sent me some slippers. Check out these bad boys. I take a size 15. It's tough for me to find slippers. Got this pair, wearing them around the house and at the office, and they are comfy and they fit my foot. So anyways, this isn't going to be a giant slipper review, but they're comfy, they feel good, feet are warm, it's November, Canada, cold, problem solved. I can't remember if I said at the open, but I'm going to be giving this fountain pen away along with a notebook and some of the other swag they sent along. Let me just show you this real quick because this won't take too long. But this is a cool lighter they sent along. It is the Top Drawer with prints, and it's the Dolphin Lighter. So again, I'm not a lighter aficionado, but I had a read up on it. It was kind of cool. Originally created in Japan in 1964. And you can see by the style and the colors, this was a lighter designed in 1964. So this is not made in 1964. I can feel it in the hand. I would love to feel an original one from the mid-60s and compare to this new one that's made. We've changed the way we make things over time. We're not, so much stamping things as much or forging them as we are casting them and stuff like that. More efficient methods of machining and stuff like that as well, which yields a different feel. So this looks like 1964, but I guarantee it feels a little bit different. But it is neat because it retains a flint. That's a little spark happened, and there's the wheel in there, and you feel the friction of the wheel, and it's gouging the flint to make a spark. And it's a flame. It's not a torch, it's a flame. You fill it with butane. So I took my regular butane here, filled it up. When I did, I wish I got this on camera, but I'm certain this little window here, the butane level was a different color. I managed to get the camera angle so you can see there's that little level that shows you how much butane is in there. It was much more clear before, just like a very light color. But as you put your butane in, it changes to a darker, more pronounced red. So that's how you see your level inside your lighter. I think that's pretty cool. Now, the reason I like the look of this lighter is because I also like the look of vintage fountain pens. Here's a couple of vintage Japanese ones. You can see similar type of styling cues, especially this old vanishing point on top. Very similar type of styles and designs. These are some other ones I have going back all the way here to 1930. Sort of goes with it. I think the Japanese ones match better, but here's a Schaefer PFM. That looks cool as well. Anyways, that's a fun thing. If you like vintage fountain pens, you might like a vintage lighter. I don't smoke, so that's not for me. Some folks here on the West Coast smoke something else. But usually when I smoke something, it's Palo Santo sticks. How'd you like that one? So these are cool. I went into a shop up near Whistler, BC. And I tell you one thing, if you are ever in need of a dream catcher, they're as common as Starbucks in these neck of the woods. We're a little bit hippy-dippy up here. But most of those stores you go into, the incense is just going way too much. It's just crazy. So I went into one near Whistler, and immediately I walked in, I went, that is a lovely smell. And I asked the guy, what is this? And it's just these little sticks, Palo Santo wood. It has a fantastic smell. So I just use this around the house sometimes. It's sort of like smudging almost in a way, but it's quite a nice smell, not overpowering. And anyways. So that's what I'll be using this lighter for. There we go. Okay, now we're back to the pen. Also, I'm a little under the weather, which means my voice drops a little bit. So it comes in a box like this. They call this pen the Tino. It's also available in ballpoint. They took that design, this sort of triangular bullet design, and transformed it to a fountain pen. It also comes with a little sleeve to protect it. There you go. Available in two materials. This is brass with a little aluminum plug here at the end. They also have the reverse, which is aluminum with a little brass plug on the end. Obviously, brass one's going to be heavy. This pen is heavy. Their site says 91 grams, We'll weigh that in a minute. It's hefty. Most people will probably prefer the aluminum one, but I got nothing wrong with heavy pens if they're balanced. It is an odd duck when it comes to adapting this shape from the ballpoint to the fountain pen. The ballpoint I could totally see because the tip just comes straight out here and you're just away you go. No problem. The fountain pen's a little trickier because you gotta, take the cap off, reveal the nib, you got step downs, you got all this other stuff you got to deal with. The ballpoint is just like a little hole. That's it. So there's a lot more to it when it comes to the fountain pen. So this is the first go at a fountain pen. The pen has been working completely fine. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. I took it out of the box, put in the supplied ink cartridge. I think it's a Kaweco Black that it comes with. It has a Schmidt nib. It's a number 5. It is wonderfully smooth, like perfect out of the box. So it has done everything perfect that a fountain pen should do. Sealing it, I left it for, it was at least 3 weeks. I did, it could have been even longer, maybe even a month. Seals wonderfully. So it's got all the things a fountain pen should do. The one area that is a little bit peculiar and interesting is just sort of the grip. Yes, there we go. Included is a Kaweco cartridge. Whenever you deal with a triangle for a pen, it gets a little, you got a bit of a battle going on and compromises have to be made to fit it into a comfortable shape in the hand. The capping, oh yeah, by the way, there's a cap liner in there. That's why it's sealing so well. It has a satisfying snap. So that's very nice. And the posting is fine. What I was saying with the triangle shape is if you're gonna go with a round section, you gotta go from this profile to that profile. And then you're gonna have a step down, right? And because it's a triangle, it's not gonna be concentric step down. It's gonna be thicker here than it is over here. So it's always a bit of a challenge to get just the perfect grip. How far back do you put the cap on to seal the nib? You could make the cap really, really short and then you just have a step down right at the end, but that might look funny. So it's a bit of a design challenge when you're trying to adapt a triangular shaped pen to a fountain pen, which is why there's really no triangular shaped fountain pens. There is the Omas 360 and more recently the Mahjong V60. The approach to make a triangular pen with these is much different because they're injection molded. So you can go very thin wall, you can get exactly the design you want. It's not hard. It doesn't cost more to make a round pen than it does a triangular pen when you're injection molding. Other than the initial molds, it costs more, but once you have that in there, it doesn't matter what the shape of your pen is, it's injection molding, it's gonna make it. When you machine it, it's much trickier. If you wanna keep the triangular shape the whole way through, like they do here on this design, you would have to machine that triangle all the way to the bottom and get it's especially if there's a taper to it that you need to do. This all of a sudden becomes extremely costly. So you have to go to a round bore, but then you run into the issue of the step downs and adapting the shape. So it is a tricky design to get just exactly right. You can write with it short and small. If you have a smaller hand, that's probably going to be fine for you. I got to post it. So the big question is, what's the ratio? How much cap do you want? Which dictates how much section you have and also what the step down looks like. Should you have it right close to the end so you get this large diameter as far as you can? Or do you lengthen this, or is this the right dimension? So, for me, I've gotten used to it. I know for some, they just won't like the feel of that, but for others it will. So it'll be a bit of a tricky one because it's just going to fit the right hand. But I do like I love the looks of it. I think it looks really neat. Triangular pens are great because you just set them on your desk wherever you want, whether the cap is on or the cap's off. With your round pens, they got a clip that's nice, but the second you do this, they're going to roll away on your desk and you can end up having a bad day. So I do love triangular shaped pens. They're tricky from a design point. But the great thing is if this fits in your hand nicely and it balances, they have these little grippies here to help with the grip. It's a really nice writing experience. I'm going to do that right now for you with this paper, and there's a little information on this paper. Now, they sent me 2 books, and they're 2 very different types of paper. One here, I think this is the Leuchtturm paper because this was in the bag with it. They didn't say on here, but this one journal, that's sort of the paper it feels like. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to christen the paper on the video tonight, but I have used their other one. It's called their Romeo. That's on there. There's 2 different sizes. The big size here in the back is the one that we're going to be giving away. They have some interesting artwork inside the covers, and I'll tell you about the paper in a second because it's quite interesting too. So there's some sciencey stuff. You got your visible spectrum, talking about optics and whatnot. The other one here they have is the planets. So if you're into the solar system, I still have the mass of the sun memorized and of the Earth and some of the diameters and those things just from university, because whatever, I'm a weirdo. But the paper's really, really nice. It is a thick paper. I think it's something like 109 GSM, they said. It has a waxy coating on it, and it's fantastic for fountain pens. The little backstory on it, I asked them to get some more information. This is what he gave me. Now, this particular paper was a joint venture where they leaned on this place. Now, let me read this out to you. It is the Paper Industry Technology Center of, now, as a Westerner, I'll probably say Eheim, but this is in Japan, so it's probably like Eheime or Eheime, something like that. Prefectural Industrial Technology Research Institute. That is the most technical sounding place I have ever heard, because all the technical words are just in the title all at one shot. So I assume they know what they're doing. So we're going to try out this paper and show you what it's all about. I've used all sorts of pens on here, like thick, juicy writers. It does not even, like, it really takes it to the extreme there. Finally, you can see. But this handles stuff really well. It's a new feel. I've never felt a paper like this. It has a bit of a waxy coating on it. So yeah, I've used this one a bunch. We're going to do some writing tests on here to show you what it's all about. It's just a fantastic feeling paper. And then we'll also try out this Bristol journal as well. The pen shape itself may or may not suit you, but the pen on its own does a perfect job of writing. It glides across the page, super nice, very smooth, juicy ink flow, all that great stuff. So it pens extremely well, it seals extremely well, all those things it should do, posts securely, all that. Just the shape, it's a bit of a tricky one. This paper though, let's explore this some more. Let me get out some other pens. Did manage to find a non-blue or non-black ink. I realized as I was grabbing for pens, I'm really into either blue or a lot of black or gray inks right now. It's tough to find one, but I found the Esterbrook with the quirky leaf. It's lovely paper. It just shows everything off. Lots of lovely shading. I don't really have much sheen inks going on. There's some with this Coronation Blue, and you can see it's showing off the sheen. So this will do great things to inks. And it is pretty darn good. If you have a super wet pen or crazy ink, it can, it has its limits, but overall it's pretty good. It does suffer a little bit from like sticky finger syndrome, if you want to call it that, where if your hands are a little bit sweaty or a little grease or something like that, it leaves fingerprints because of the coating. So sometimes you'll go along and then your pen you'll see a fingerprint appear in your writing. So it's a little bit prone to that. So make sure your hands are clean when you're using it. This Leuchtturm, I believe, again, that's what it is. It works okay, but you can see it's just not as nice to fountain pen inks. The edges are just a little bit more fuzzy. The writing experience has a little more drag. Great for ballpoints. Okay for fountain pens. It behaves not too bad. Like nothing's really bleeding excessively. You get a little bit through the backside. Like it's not terrible, but it's not my favorite for fountain pens. But this Romeo paper, or Romeo, depending on how you want to say it. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. So that's why I'm doing a giveaway, so you can get the large size version. Actually, while I'm at it, we'll do the large Romeo. It comes in plain. They also have dotted as well. My tripod's falling down. We'll give you that one and this Leuchtturm one. All I've done so far is just that inside page there. So did I add value to it by having some Doodlebud scribbles with different pens and inks and all that stuff? Who knows? And then we'll throw in the pen to go with it. So all you have to do to enter, as always, just, hit subscribe if you haven't. If you haven't by now, what are you doing? Hit the button and then just leave a comment. A random comment will be picked. Let's do this. When should we do the draw? So this video is November 8th, 2024. So we'll do it on the 15th. That's when the draw will be announced on the page. It will be a random comment that's picked. These types of videos usually have a ton of comments in them, so it's gonna be tough for me to engage with everyone in the comment section. However, if you are a member, you get guaranteed replies. There's a join button, all about that there. In the description, I will do my best to have links for all the different items here from Top Drawer, which I want to thanks for sending me their brand new fountain pen to try out, along with all these other things, not to mention the slippers and the lighter. There was also some handkerchiefs over here somewhere. There is this, what is this here? It is like a slipper for a pen. So if you like stuff like that, they just have nice stuff, right? I mean, you can get cheap slippers at Walmart, or if you want some nicer ones, you get some nicer ones. Same, they got these types of handkerchiefs as well. I'll throw, you know what, let's just do all that stuff. I'm just going to keep the lighter, my Palo Santo, and the little mini notebook here. Of course, the slippers, they're on my feet. I had to get the size, the triple XL to fit a 15, and I'll put it all in this little bag that it came with as well. So that's going to be packed away. The draw will be on November 15th. Good luck to everyone who's out there entering into the draw. Again, thanks again to Top Drawer. Check them out. All the details online. We'll catch you next time.